And good morning, Oshkosh. Here we are, Friday, 5th day of AirVenture 2025. It's been a heck of a week. Great airplanes, occasionally great weather, occasionally not so great weather, especially if you saw our Tuesday program. Doing it inside was a whole lot more fun than doing it outside while we were watching our Starlink get drenched, and thankfully it worked fine. But for right now, we are finishing up the week with some important topics and important folks, and looking forward to a great weekend of flying. Don't forget that Saturday is both a day and a night air show, and they really roll it out for the night air show on Saturday. There's been kind of an unofficial competition between the Sun and Fun folks and the It is for sponsor of the day, Piper Aircraft, and if you have not flown an M700, you are missing a speedy pleasure. We were out several months ago doing some video work with them and watching 300 knots come and go right past and even faster, and up and well into the flight levels, and enjoying an airplane and a stability control profile that really stunned. Phenomenal airplane. We can't wait to see what they do next. For today, as you can see, humid, variable cloudiness. We'll see what happens with that. Winds east 7, gusts of 16. High of 82, probability of precipitation only 25%. And frankly, I think they're lying. It's Oshkosh. Anything can happen. So we shall see what happens down the line. Story of the day yesterday was pretty much that the FAA administrator came here and there was much ado about nothing. Very pleasant exchange, very positive, not a lot of information, but then again, he's only been in time and grade of 9 days? Hard to really get a handle on it, no matter how prepared you are for the role, especially having gone through Senate confirmation. But we look forward to some months down the line getting a chance to put him on the hot seat once he understands the entire system that he is now heading, and getting a chance to see where the FAA is going to go in the future. Now, let's get to the important stuff. A lot of you know I fly a little bit of everything. I am also a helicopter pilot and helicopter instructor. One of the earliest helo jobs I had was in some really well-flown Enstroms out of a little seaplane / helicopter base near Teterboro, New Jersey. Had the time of my life. It was wonderful to get paid to fly. What a concept. But I'm here to welcome Todd Tetzloff from Enstrom, and let's talk helicopters.
Very good, Jim. Thank you for having me today. Very happy to join you and like you said, talk about helicopters.
Well, right now, the queen of your fleet is the 480B Elite. What's happening with that model?
480B Elite is nearing completion, or our final certification aspects. We have numerous projects that we've been working on. One of them for safety, the crash-resistant fuel system, mandated by the FAA, is very close to completion. So that's a safety aspect that we're adding to our aircraft. Likewise, we're adding autopilot. I will say I wasn't really a believer in that for a helicopter that I believe you should be looking outside of. But as I've been able to fly and work with our pilots and fly it myself as a pilot, I am a believer. I think it's a huge safety aspect that is beneficial. Add to that the leather, the fancy paint jobs, air conditioning, and I think we really have a winner on our hands.
Sounds like flying in style.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. They turn heads wherever we go.
What autopilot system did you adopt?
It's the Genesis autopilot that's been widely used and familiar to, I think, fixed wing as well as other rotary wing pilots.
They've done some amazing work in that regime.
Yeah. No, they've been very good to work with as well. So.
Well, Enstrom has been through some really interesting years, and I've heard the history way back when. A dear friend of mine was F. Lee Bailey, and of course he had such an interesting time running Enstrom. I think it was more of a hobby than anything else to him, because he loved helicopters. He wasn't quite sure he loved the helicopter business, but he sure loved helicopters. But I've watched the company come on up and have its high times and its low times. But right now, it looks like you guys are heading for high times. What's the future for Enstrom looking like right now?
Right now, like you said, a storied past, and I think going to be a storied future as well. under U.S. ownership again after many years with foreign ownership. We're fortunate to have Chuck Surek as our owner, and I know you've spoken to him in the past. And with my experience with the company spanning over 3 decades, what we have now is someone who's passionate about the product, a pilot himself, and with the wherewithal to invest in the next iteration of our products. So the Elite is our top-end product now. On our drawing board are many other improvements, possibly a growth version, areas where those of us with an engineering background have wanted to go for years, and we're now being allowed to go there. So it's very exciting.
The training market has, again, ebbed and flowed a bit. Right now, it's incredibly competitive. You've got a number of new machines in that regime. A lot of questions about who's going to wind up surviving. And, of course, you've got yourselves and Robinson as long-term training aircraft providers. The little Hughes / Sikorsky / whatever it is at the time is slated for a comeback, but we'll see. How do you see your role in the training market right now?
It's a very exciting role for us. There was a time under previous ownership where that part of the industry was not focused upon. And as we talk in our meetings now at the factory, we feel we need to be back in that. As a fixed wing guy, I always say I grew up in a Cessna, so I migrate towards Cessnas. You have Robinson folks who migrate towards Robinsons, and that's an area that we have been not active in. So we have our piston model, the 280FX, that's currently in production as well. We're planning to bring the F-28F back as well. Very robust aircraft. We are looking to see where we can make those a little more economically viable as a trainer. They're an ideal trainer, but we want to make it more available to new aspiring pilots.
Outstanding. Well, like I said, I cut my teeth as a commercial pilot in an earlier series F-28, and in a little place that didn't always do the greatest maintenance and didn't always take care of this, that, and the other, but the machines just soldiered on.
Mm-hmm. No, I agree. I got rotary experience in the small Robinsons. They treated me well. I move into the Enstroms, and they treat me very well too. I think they're a very benign aircraft and an ideal trainer. In fact, the 480B came to life as the TH-28 for the training contract 35 years ago. So it's purpose-built for that. And I think even in that arena, as people migrate into a turbine engine machine, it is an ideal place to start.
Turbine market is incredibly fickle, not just because it tends to be more expensive, but because there are acolytes up and down the industry of you got to do this and you got to use that, or this engine does this, or you got to have this kind of rotor system, so forth and so on. How is the Elite series being received?
Very well. We have had so much interest over the last 3 years since Chuck Surek purchased the company, and it's been very unique. It went from reintroducing ourselves to the industry to now having serious folks looking at our products and asking when we can deliver. And like I said, we have those safety projects in work with the FAA, plus the niceties that we're working on. Once those are through, we're ready to deliver. We've got the production line rolling well, focused on the 480Bs, the Elites, and the step below that, the Signature, which you can get everything as you can get on an Elite, but it's a la carte. So if you don't need all the fanciness and, say, air conditioning, you can delete that.
But I like the fancy stuff.
Yeah, I know. It's compelling. Traveling in style.
Well, I got to tell you, I'm happy to see Enstrom be healthy. I'm happy to see it under U.S. management. Having talked to Chuck, I know you guys have really good leadership, and I know you've shared in that role as well. So we look forward to seeing more and better and greater things out of Enstrom, and more important than anything else, I got to get up there and fly the Elite, man. Come on. Get me up there.
Absolutely. Open invitation. Whenever you can make it, or we can help facilitate, we're there for you.
Well, we very much look forward to it. Can you give me a plug out here for folks that are trying to get more instrument? Okay, let's say that 3 times fast. get more information on Enstrom helicopters? That's actually a bit of a tongue twister.
Oh, we're active on social media. You can find us on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn. Our website is enstromhelicopter.com. It's a mouthful. We try to use every letter in the alphabet there, but it's easy. enstromhelicopter.com. And usually, always someone's answering the phone as well. So we're a small company. We act like a startup, but we got 65 years of experience under our belt. So it's unique and very family-oriented. So someone will be there for you.
Well, small company, but you're doing great things, and we're glad to have you in their industry. Todd, thanks so much for joining us on Morning Brief and our Airborne and Aero-TV series. And we look forward to talking to you down the line, and more important, getting to the real stuff, flying.
Very good. Thank you so much, Jim. You really made this fun.
Thank you, sir. Much appreciated. Alrighty, folks, we are going to take a little bit of a break for a little bit of that crass commercial messaging, so Jim here gets to eat. Take one look at me. You know I don't miss many meals. We're not going to miss any at Oshkosh. So we will be back after a very short break, and we look forward to coming back here with a couple of really interesting guests looking at public service flying and the like. We'll be right back. This is Aero-News Morning Brief, Day 5, Oshkosh 2025.
The Aero-News Network's Oshkosh Morning Brief, live from Oshkosh, Wisconsin, is brought to you in part by the following sponsors.
Meet the first of a new generation of the M-Class family. The M700 Fury. An aircraft worthy of the name, an indomitable force. The M700 Fury transcends traditional limits with more power, blistering performance, a finely appointed interior, and the luxury of what matters most. Time. Experience the Fury. Join the legacy.
Gabriel, Prime, Explorer, 3 versions of fun, all Mosaic ready. Whether you are a flight school, a cross-country enthusiast, or you believe only a tail dragger is real flying, Black Shape has what you want. These fast carbon fiber aircraft offer road tax, Lycoming, and soon Titan engine options, plus advanced avionics, a ballistic recovery system, and long-range tanks. Performance, quality, and safety come standard for an exceptional flying experience.
My hip fuel gauge is really being weird.
It's acting up again. We've got plenty of fuel, but those gauges really are not all that accurate.
Great.
For years, fuel gauges confirmed you were empty, but couldn't warn you before. SAIS delivers certified full-range accuracy because knowing before empty makes all the difference.
Accurate fuel gauges.
That is so nice.
SAIS, accuracy before empty.
Dreaming of flight? AeroPup makes it real with a rugged, safe, and fun kit plane starting at just $22,500. Build it in 500 hours and cruise at 100 knots with 900 pounds of payload. And now, Field & Avionics brings Flybox to the U.S. market. High-performance European avionics built for experimental and light sport aircraft. Intuitive, reliable, and pilot-focused. See it all at fieldandaero.com.
And we're back. You didn't learn anything from the last 15 minutes, but you're back anyway. Okay, we'll take it. We are in the middle of day 5, Oshkosh 2025. It's been a great week. As we've talked about before, a lot of great announcements. We've finally got Mosaic off top dead center. The new FAA administrator showed up, didn't say much, but at least made nice. So we'll take that and hope it sticks out for the next 5 years. And we've had a really interesting discussion about Instrom helicopters, one of my favorites, because I cut my teeth as an early helicopter pilot on old F-28 bombers in the middle of nowhere and just having a great old time trying to keep those things in the air despite horrendous circumstances and weather and everything else. Love the machines. So let's change topics here. We've got two gentlemen who are trying to do something extraordinary with aviation. I will introduce first, we've got Josh Olson, Vice Chair, Air Care Alliance. And then, of course, we've got Don Ryman, Angel Flight West, and you said wing leader?
Idaho wing leader.
Idaho wing leader. Okay, Idaho, again, God's country. Josh, tell me what you're doing right now, because the whole concept of public service and aviation seems to be at something of a number of crossroads at the moment.
That's right. Thanks for having us, first of all. We're here this week with the Air Care Alliance, which is a umbrella group for all the different volunteer pilot organizations across the country. So those that aren't familiar with volunteer pilot organizations or public benefit flying in general, every day hundreds of pilots are donating their aircraft and time to serve their community with the different needs that flight can serve. Don here is next to me with Angel Flight. I served for a long time as Angel Flight West Executive Director. They're flying people to and from healthcare that couldn't otherwise access it because of health reasons, financial reasons, geography reasons, and all of the above. That's the biggest segment in the public benefit flying group is the flights to medical care. There's Angel Flight, there's PALS, there's a group called Lifeline Pilots. So really great opportunity to use your airplane to give back, do what you love, and potentially save someone's life. But there's all other different kind of segments. Recently in the news with Hurricane Helene and the flooding of Texas, groups like Operation Airdrop and Operation Hilo have gotten a lot of press. Those are also volunteer pilot organizations, so volunteer pilots sign up for that, and when the disaster hits, they're mobilizing them to move people, to move supplies, to get people into safe areas. There's also flights for conservation. A lot of folks are familiar with Pilots and Paws, which does animal rescue from euthanized areas, shelters, to where they can find their forever homes. There's, you name it, there is a volunteer pilot organization related to that cause. And we partnered with EAA this week to try to recruit 200 new pilots for this cause, because EAA wants to know that any pilot, any plane can volunteer for this, whether you're experimental, whether you're flying turbine, single engine piston. There's something for everybody. And the pilots that want to join this can come by our booth on the southwest corner of Boeing Plaza, right next to the U2, or you can just go online, aircarealliance.org. It'll have all the groups listed. You can learn all about it and actually sign up right there for whatever groups that you want to volunteer for.
Last time I looked at the website, which was only a couple of weeks ago, there's quite a listing of organizations and sub-organizations contributing to the benefit of all through aviation. At the same time, though, I don't think that the general media and the public is aware of the sacrifices being made. After the recent weather, the hurricanes, and especially some of the massive flooding that occurred in the Carolinas and in Texas, and from what I understand, certain parts of New Mexico as well. People saw things happening. They didn't know who did it. So I would imagine that one of the biggest jobs you have in order to encourage participation is awareness.
That's correct. It's for the general public specifically, GA is sort of outside their realm of understanding. In the case of Angel Flight, for example, you're a patient, lives in rural Idaho, you need to go to Seattle or Boise or someplace else that has more advanced healthcare. Your first thought isn't, oh, I know, some private pilot like Don is going to fly his 210 to pick me up and deliver me front door all at no cost, right? It's like too good to be true. And also just like, I only think of flying, I think of commercial aviation. So that's one battle. But even within the aviation community, there's so many good things happening. And I'm biased, but I think the public benefit flying is the best thing happening, because what a great use of these amazing machines that we have access to really, invest in the community and give back to others. So we're really grateful for interviews like this with Aero-News Network. And if anyone is listening, that would like to help amplify or spread that message, we'd be welcome to tell it anywhere, because it is such an amazing story. And I'm sure Don will tell you some of the stories of the patients he's flown. But it's one that needs to be told at scale and to a larger audience so that we can reach more of the need and find more pilots to help these amazing causes.
Well, Don, that's your cue, buddy. You are flying in an area of the world that is at times absolutely gorgeous and at times absolutely treacherous. I would imagine Angel Flight programming out there has to be a bit difficult. Tell me what life is like for an Angel pilot out west.
Well, it's a great experience. We have a big thing in backcountry pilots where you take a friend and go to breakfast or lunch somewhere in the backcountry, but that's not nearly as rewarding as to do the same thing, take the opportunity to fly your airplane and go pick up a patient and their companion and fly them out of a remote area into a larger city where they need to get health care. There's areas in Idaho, Montana, Nevada, Eastern Oregon, and Washington that it's a 5-hour drive in a car to get to somewhere for healthcare, but it's an hour flight in the airplane because we go up and over the mountains. So it's that part is very exciting. It definitely helps people get to somewhere they couldn't otherwise. And so many of the patients, they can afford with their insurance the health care. But when you look at like a 5-hour drive to get to Boise to get on a commercial airline and then a flight to Salt Lake where, the Angel Flight pilots can pick them up in the smaller communities or transfer them from like Boise to Salt Lake, Seattle, that type of thing. So, and I real quickly I'd like to share with you because 3 different types of flights I've done. I flew an individual that had a motorcycle accident. He was in a coma for 3 months. And then he had an intubation tube that wasn't too long, wore through the back of his throat. So he was having to go to Salt Lake every 2 weeks for treatment. He'd see his brain doctor, neurologist, and the throat guy. And so I'd fly him down and then fly him back. I flew a 6-year-old boy that had an issue with his eye. It turned out to be a tumor. He ended up losing his eye, but flying him and his mother down and back to Salt Lake. And then another fun one is in Idaho, there's a Rainbow Gold Cancer Camp. So we'll fly. They have 2 types of camps. We fly cancer kids, where they're the ones with cancer that we fly them to and from the camp, and then there's 1 week was for their siblings that they get to go. So a variety of different types of flights that touch your heart. And so I always, when I'm talking to people, say it changes from flying, not just fun, but flying with a purpose, because you're making a huge difference in people's lives. So it's a great way to use your time in airplane as a pilot.
Well, the obvious question is, I've got an airplane, I want to do something with it. It is big enough to carry a few folks, a reasonably decent aviator, instrument rated, blah, 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 all these things. At least I would hope that would be kind of a minimum spec. How do you get involved? How do you become a public benefit pilot?
Yeah, so signing up is really easy. I mentioned earlier, aircarealliance.org. That has a single application that gets distributed to any of the groups that you want. You can also go directly to the groups like angelflightwest.org and sign up there. In terms of requirements and aircraft and so forth, anyone can volunteer. There's a whole host of needs that these organizations have. If you're volunteering as a command pilot, there is some requirements. Like for Angel Flight, for example, it's 250 PIC and then some currency. And to fly as a command pilot, you do need access to a plane, right? Whether you're a renter or you own a plane, or you're on someone else's plane that's willing to let you fly it. That's how you sign up for the flights. And each group puts out kind of a list of flights Once you've gone through the sign-up process, there's a little orientation that kind of teaches you how to work, and then you just sign up for which flight you want, when you want. There's no requirement, there's no cost to join. Because it is Part 91 flying, because the FARs, unless groups have an exemption, there's no compensation involved. But the flights are all tax deductible for the pilot that's donating those flights. So that's kind of how that piece works. And then for the nonprofits that have a staff and technology and so forth, they fundraise on their own. So if someone's listening and wants to support these organizations, there's a lot of worthy ones. You can go on there and donate as well. But yeah, definitely need more volunteer pilots, need more volunteers in general, and all these groups need donations to operate. But the sign-up process is really easy. It only takes a few minutes, and all the stuff that is required is right there up front. Fill that out, walk through it, and you're good to go.
I would just like to add that it's not something you have to do by yourself either. So my wife loves to fly, so I got her signed up as a mission assistant. So now when we fly patients, she can go with me, and it really works out well because she can help whatever needs the passengers have while I'm landing or taking off, those critical moments. And I just want to add one more thing for Angel Flight, because we have a new something we started fairly recently, which was relocating domestic abuse victims. Because if you think about it, someone that's a victim and they're in a town and their abusers, the only contact they had, and all their family, like from Boise, might be in Seattle, they have no means, no way to get there. Well, Angel Flight is now doing those kind of missions too. So it's an amazing way to get to fly, meet a lot of great people that are so appreciative. If you watch any of the Angel Flight videos, even those that have been doing it for a long time, it's hard to watch them without tears in your eyes because they're so touching, because it's such a big impact on the people that we fly for.
Well, I'll tell you what, a couple of suggestions, gentlemen. More video, because every one that I've seen has been not just informative, but at times emotional, at times hysterical. The guy with the Cherokee 140 on a pilot and pause mission with a bunch of puppies that got loose, and they're all over the place and just having a great old time. And he doesn't know if he's having more fun flying or chasing the pups around. But then again, you've got kids in particular that kind of strike me as particularly important, and people who are in need, and especially when you're talking about the time element. I'm the only guy in my family who's not in medicine, and one of the most, treatment's one thing, getting to treatment in time is beyond critical. And I've watched my sisters, my brothers, and everybody tell stories about getting to people in time and not getting to people in time, and what it takes. So God's work, gentlemen. So let's finish this up with the most important aspect. Both of you, tell everybody here how they can get in touch with you, how they can get involved, and where they can find you.
Yeah, we'd love to get involved with any kind of needs. If you're a pilot or want to volunteer or get more involved, you can reach Air Care Alliance at www.aircarealliance.org. We do have a structure on the southwest corner of Boeing Plaza, right next to the U2. You can learn more. You can talk to volunteers like Don and learn more about kind of what's involved and what to expect, etc. You can also go to any of the groups that are listed on there, like Angel Flight West, Pilots and Paws. They have their websites too. You can contact me at AOPA, josh.olson@aopa.org. Be happy to talk to anyone. And Jim, I appreciate your advice and input in terms of how we can expand the message. And thank you for taking the time to do this today as well.
So I'm affiliated with Angel Flight West, which is the 13 western states, and because there's a lot of population in other areas in Idaho, the best way to reach out to Angel Flight West is angelflightwest.org. You go to their website, you can sign up there, and then let them know which state you're in and where you want to fly, and and you, like I said, they'll help you hook you up with the right kind of missions that you like, as far as type of airports, type of passengers, and distance that you want to fly. So angelflightwest.org.
Gentlemen, thank you very much. Appreciate what you do for the non-pilot community in terms of helping them out, but also the pilot community itself. We all fly because we love it, but flying with purpose has a kind of special edge to it, and keep doing God's work. And if we can help in any way, we're just getting ready to celebrate our 30th year in just a couple of months. We've been at this a long time. We know media, we know social media, we know video. I think we've done more of that than anybody extent to this point. Let's talk, see what we can do to help.
Thanks, Jim. Appreciate it. Will do.
Thank you, Jim.
Thank you, gentlemen. All righty, folks. We're going to head on off here to a couple of topics that are front and center for the air show community today. The air show starts at 14:15 CDT. Be a number of skydivers out of a Beech 18 to start. Showcase of seaplanes, beta technologies, and other various aircraft. United States Air Force F-22 demo heritage flight, F-22, F-35A, and P-51. Now that's what you call a mix. Susan Dacey in the PT-17. Warbirds of America bringing God knows what, but not enough. We're going to look forward to that. Jim Pites and Pete's in the Beech 33. Northern Stars, 3 pit specials. Greg Kuntz in the decathlon. And very few people can keep up with Greg Kuntz in the decathlon. The man is just freaking amazing. He's absolutely extraordinary. Vicky Benzing in the P-51. Aaron Fitzgerald in a BO-105. Helicopter Acro. Flight of the Cats, Hellcat, Tiger Cat, Bearcat, Wildcat. Kitty, kitty, kitty. Michael Goulian in the Extra 330 SC. Dave Martin in an AGI T610. Now let's get the rest of the list here. Sorry to be working off paper, but paper never fails. Scott Yoke, Yokeman in the P-51. Bill Stein in an Edge 540. And the Wisconsin National Guard out here to show their stuff. Looking forward to it. Couple things coming up today. Salute the Veterans Parade at 1300. Start at Warbird Alley and ends at Boeing Plaza. All veterans at AirVenture are invited to meet at the Warbirds and Review ramp at 12:30. They will assemble behind their service song. Old Glory Yellow Ribbon Honor Flight. Welcome home flight of Vietnam veterans at Boeing Plaza. Theater in the Woods, the fight to save the City of Angels from 7 to 9. Speakers recant the heroic acts of those who rushed to save the city. Warbirds in Review start in just a little bit, 10 o'clock. Curtis SB-2C Helldiver, 1300 Veterans Tributes for all services. Boeing Plaza has a T-38 Talon. AV-8B Harrier II, we're not going to see those for much longer. F-35B Lightning II. And American Airlines A321 Stand Up to Cancer livery. It's also Teacher Day from 8 o'clock this morning till noon. Registration is full, but if you signed up, here's your reminder. Lycoming's Maintenance and Troubleshooting Your Engine, Forum Stage 2 at 0830 at Grid K9. Got that one a little late, sorry. Today's IAC Forums on aerobatics with Mike Lentz, National Champion Instructor on Strategy at 11:30 to 12:45. Mike Church leads the possible turn, options for engine failure after takeoff from 1300 to 1415. And don't forget to mark your calendars for Sport Aviation's next great event, a new winter fly-in at the best sport aviation facility in the South, if not the country, the Sun and Fun Aerospace Expo campus. Join us this November 6th through 8th. And don't forget our sponsor of the day, Piper Aircraft, has been very good to us. We appreciate it. But the thing we appreciate most is the chance to play with their toys. And the M700 is one heck of a piece of machinery. We've flew it a couple of months back and just had a wonderful time with the machine. It was really quite extraordinary. If I can take a minute, I'm going to get back to the last page here. Since we're finishing up the day and finishing up the week with Morning Brief, we have a lot of people come up to us, talk about the stories we write, the way we do things. Occasionally we have somebody comes up to us and says, how much for a story? What do I have to pay to get covered? And I want to make a statement on behalf of Aero-News. It's been the same for all 30 years of our existence. So if you'll bear with me for one more minute, this is important to us, and this is something we want to say to the industry, and I think we're the only ones right now saying, feeling, and doing this. For nearly 30 years, the Aero-News Network has chosen the road less traveled. innovating with some of the most dedicated and talented individuals in aviation. ANN is a truly original platform, not a patchwork of recycled or mediocre programs peddled to those with more money than discernment. We innovate with credibility, integrity, and deep expertise. We don't pretend to be aviation experts. Our people are aviation experts. Each of us shares a profound commitment to the safety and well-being of every flyer in the Aeroverse. We reject pay for play. We are not for sale. We speak the truth, verify the facts, good or bad, and deliver insight that matters. In an industry where information can mean the difference between safety and danger, we take our responsibility seriously. At Aero-News, we deliver the truth, even when it's hard to hear. Because we believe you deserve nothing less. We can take it, so you don't have to. On behalf of the Aero-News Network, Airborne Morning Brief, Aero-TV, our camera person, Holland Lee, who also helms our airborne program every day and does a spectacular job and has easily been the best we've had so far. And of course, Nathan Cremosino, our chief videographer, running this whole thing and making sure nothing blows up and nothing catches fire and nobody dies. So that's it. On behalf of an incredible team of people, and I could spend another 30 minutes naming them all and why they're important. But suffice it to say, look at the product and know that we've got great people working for you. So once again, on behalf of Aero-News and Morning Brief, I'm Jim Campbell. I look forward to seeing you around Oshkosh through the weekend. And we will see you for Morning Brief at Sun and Fun and here at Oshkosh in 2026. God bless. Enjoy.
The Aero-News Network's Oshkosh Morning Brief, live from Oshkosh, Wisconsin, is brought to you in part by the following sponsors.
Meet the first of a new generation of the M-Class family. The M700 Fury. An aircraft worthy of the name and indomitable force. The M700 Fury transcends traditional limits with more power, blistering performance, a finely appointed interior, and the luxury of what matters most. Time. Experience the Fury. Join the legacy.
Dreaming of flight? Aero-Pup makes it real with a rugged, safe, and fun kit plane starting at just $22,500. Build it in 500 hours and cruise at 100 knots with 900 pounds of payload. And now, Field & Avionics brings Flybox to the U.S. market. High-performance European avionics built for experimental and light sport aircraft. Intuitive, reliable, and pilot-focused. See it all at fieldandaero.com.